Alright, so I was reading this Chinese manga and I really like them. They're great. They're in the wuxia genre, which is kind of like a hero trains up and travels the world and meets all kinds of people, does all kinds of crazy stuff. It's like a really very well made Chinese hero story. But anyway, it came up to this. I'll show it in a minute, actually. But right now, I'm just showing this picture, and it came up to this part which showed the realm or the time of the gods, which I believe is during the Satya Yuga. Which, as here we see this picture, we're right here in the Dwapara Yuga. And we can see 2014, we're in 2020, but it's pretty much the same time because this will go all the way till 4098 AD, which we're currently in 2021 AD. As you see here, this is 498 AD. The Dark Ages, the medieval Dark Ages, is kind of, you can see this whole period here. The Renaissance started around the, I believe it was late 1600s, 1700s. I'm not a historian though, so for any who do know, just post a comment or whatever. But yeah, you can kind of see that these 12,000 years here of darkness, 12,000 years of darkness, again, Kali meaning darkness. I imagine Dwapara, I imagine that might be Hindi or Sanskrit for electrical age, dark age. Very interesting how they named it. And this is the Treta Yuga, mental age. So that's quite cool. You've got the truth age, mental age, electrical, and dark age. So it's kind of like from matter, you're refining it more and more. Like electrical is a raw, crude form of mental energy. That'd be like ultra high frequency, gamma radiation and higher, 0 point. And then the truth age is just like the highest peak. Anyway, so yeah, and funny enough, we have electrical devices in the electrical age. So who knows? Maybe in like 2,000 years, everything will just be mental technology, and we'll just be like mentally projecting. But anyway, as you can see here, this is 702 BC. This is 3102 BC. We go back to the mental age. So I believe that the time of the gods, at least the last time of the gods, was here around 11502 BC. Though it probably was earlier. It was probably around let's see if this is like 4 or 5k years. It'd be around maybe 16,000 BC. So around 18,000 years ago is probably the start of it. And this idea of like the Deva realm, and the realm of the Asuras and all these crazy ass god creatures, and like mythological creatures as well. Dominions, the video game Dominions, I should have brought it up. It's got such a good representation of this. Yeah, maybe I'll have to do that in another one. Or I do recommend checking out Dominions, the video game, Dominions 3, Dominions 2, Dominions 4, whatever. You know. Because it's in that realm where it's got all the mythological creatures, and I reckon this like mythological stuff was somewhat true, as in there was actually a time there. Anyway, I'll quickly go to this this manga here. I'll put the name and the name in the description. I can't exactly give you a name, a link to where to read it. It's called Lian Qi Lianle Sanqiannian. Yeah, whatever that means in English. Anyway, this is chapter 126. Of course, if you don't want it spoiled, it's not really, I mean, Might be a little bit, but yeah, don't watch this. But otherwise, he basically breaks into this like a slight not safe for work warning. He's kind of got no clothes on. He's got hair as a loincloth though, but he'll have clothes eventually. He breaks into the realm of the gods, and the interesting, or the time of the gods, because it's not the realm of the gods, it's just a higher level of that earth. He says it has such strong spiritual chi, and this was an idea of cultivators and such, which they said apparently in older times the energy of the world was better. There was this idea where I think they had bugs, and they grew bugs to become giant using higher oxygen. And I think it was oxygen, and apparently in previous times there was more oxygen, and they had giant what do you call it? Insects, and who knows, giant animals as well, probably. Anyway, let me try to, yeah, you see this tiger, little butt there, you see this tiger creature, he gets fucking roasted, and you see how big he is. Like, this is a forest, so this is meant to be like a giant humanoid kind of animalistic. And here's another one. This kind of reminds me of like one of the Magic the Gathering gods, the Khans of Tarkir pack, if anyone knows that. Anyway, so you can see this realm of the gods is Earth, just, you know, years and years ago, when there was immense like magical energy or mana in the world, which is probably just oxygen, some other rare element, who knows. It's taking back his kill. Yeah, I'll skip ahead. These little cloth. I'll skip ahead and I'll show you some of the other gods, because they're very cool. It's very taking a piss in the lake. They're very cool and kind of historical. Yeah, the time of dragons, the time of, basically this is the time of like mythical god-like creatures, and this manga, I love it so much. It just shows it in such a great visual. Here, look at that. Yeah, if anyone's played Dominions, they know, they've seen things. You've probably seen giant, weird colored gods, and it's like if you look at the Indian stuff, how they have the blue people, and they have all kinds of weird other, almost like aliens, and there's ideas of the Nephilim and all this shit. I think that's kind of like a later time of this stuff, as in it's after kind of the age of the gods. There may be like the last survivors, and anyway, he's pissed off, but look at him, he's the size of like a skyscraper, and he's holding a temple with his hand. So but anyway, so there's humans as well in this era. I'll skip ahead a little. Okay, there's a cute waifu here, which there are many in this manga. Manhua, whatever it is. I know there's 3 words. It's Korean. I don't know if Manhua is Korean or if it's a Chinese word. So anyway, skip ahead to try get to the kind of realm and platform of the gods quickly. And it goes through the idea of cultivation of because the humans are like weak in their cultivation, and what's it called? And this guy, he's like an immortal. He teaches them, yeah, how to get better and all that stuff. What's this? And it's very interesting, because I think there's a lot of ideas where the gods taught humans, they taught them magic, and I do believe in like the Sumerian, the idea of the Nephilim, and you got more of these giant gods. They look very much like the Himalayan and all that area around India, around India and China and Tibet. They've got the Asuras and the Devas and all these like crazy ass gods. Anyway, he gets what your buys. You get the floating sky platform. it goes into like the idea of space and different planets, because a lot of these gods can fly. He's got a nifty little robe like that. And I do think like the idea of other worlds and fighting on other worlds, who knows what happened with the different planets, like the idea of Mars being destroyed because of it's got a cute little nine-tailed fox. Isn't it adorable? Yeah, the idea of like different planets being you have to go back a chapter, I think. Different planets being like war battlefields and shit, and there's all kinds of interesting stuff in the like holy cities, and this is it's just incredible. It's like 30 chapters, and these are big chapters, like 30 chapters of just amazing displays of this kind of stuff. I'll go through and try to find some. Yeah, different locations, little maps, and all that. Because the idea of higher dimensions was more realistic, as in like, literally being on a sky platform or being in a higher up planet. So, planets would be ranked and valued and all that. And it would be more, people would be more able to travel through different, they would call different worlds, different planets and all that. And because they would have, they would have powers essentially, they'd be able to levitate and do all kinds of, taking it down space up here, all kinds of crazy shit like that. But yeah, there's ideas that the gods apparently gave, and a demigod is a god, marrying or having a child with a, look at this lovely artwork, having a child with a regular human. So I imagine there would be these, these gods and also humans. And what is a god? Apparently they had divine energy essentially, and doing energy cultivation, qigong, and all that. We cultivate what's called vital qi, which is this vital energy. It's just life force. Marriage. Nice. Yeah, look at all this crazy shit. And he's the god of the realm. Look at him. And yeah, apparently the gods had divine energy, which is like a higher form of cultivation or something. It's a pure form of energy. So higher frequency, I guess you could say. And I imagine that would change them, as in that would they would just be such evolved, advanced life forms who maybe they were originally, because the idea of it, this is a bit nasty. They take the liver, the gallbladder, and they'll eat it. Yeah, a little bit. That's a nice picture. Maybe not the writing there. Anyway, yeah, I'll finish talking about this. So, I imagine it's just through. Yeah, the idea of demons. The idea of a demon is an animal that has actually gained, is been doing cultivation, and it's gained like a higher level of evolution and intelligence, and then apparently eventually they can transform into humans. You got the idea of the Inari, the Kitsune, the magical Kitsune in your Japanese folklore. I believe there's more. I believe it's like wolf people, the Okami, kind of wolf people or something. All kinds of tanuki, magical tanukis. But essentially, I was thinking maybe you could use some kind of electro brain stimulation machine to advance the brain development of an animal. Who knows? Try that out. But yeah, apparently somehow they, maybe just through the environment being very powerful, that they lived a long, interesting life, and maybe gained experience, and then they eventually become like a magical being just through energy control and cultivation and all that. I'm interested in that. I reckon something like that. Yeah, maybe it's true. Even plants as well, and I think minerals, even objects. The idea is it's like in Sugimomo. What's it? Sukugami? I don't know, something like that. Yeah, Sugimomo, which is a good manga, has a lot of ideas about that. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Once I get better at magic and all that, I do want to try it out to try to make it living objects and such, and living animal. It's a bad word to say, but demonic animals. I don't mean like a bad way, but in a highly cultivated. But maybe these gods came about through that. Who knows? Maybe they were aliens who just came to Earth. That's actually a very prominent idea. Is that these in the time of the gods, when Earth had more energy to it, the air was cleaner and all that. They could live there, and they ruled over humans and kind of had them as slaves. Because in this manhwa, they're basically treated as like slaves, and yeah, it's not so good for humans. Thankfully, Bai Churan, the main character, he helps them out with that. But yeah, so maybe they're aliens, maybe they came from like other planets or whatever, and they're just harvesting Earth and enjoying it and like living as kings. And then maybe as the energy started to diminish, there's also ideas about humans taking on and killing the gods, attacking the gods, and this idea of them cultivating to higher levels. And that's where the ideas of the remnants of magic, the remnants of cultivation, came from this age of the gods, where I can see that as being a thing. And then it was just kind of kept and trained, but slowly diminished over the years. And maybe in the next several thousand, 5,000 years, we'll kind of rediscover things like magic and all that. Probably first through technology, and then secondly through cultivation. Either way, I hope it doesn't take that long. Yeah, I want to accomplish this stuff in my life. But anyway, it's a very interesting thing to me, this time of the gods. I think it's phenomenal. So yeah, go check out like the video game Dominions. I think Dominions 3 and 4 I played. They're pretty good. And this manga Lian Qi Lianle Sanqiannian, which I'll put in the name in the description, so you can look it up yourself. It's pretty entertaining. It's what makes a good wuxia, a good waifu, is good power levels, crazy fights, sect politics, like monasterial sect politics. Who knows? Sometimes interesting food and crafting and all that stuff. Yeah, it's all. I love the wuxia genre. So yeah, I'll leave you with that. Anyway, have a good day and goodbye.